All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Word with Ty Brownlow. I am your host, Ty Brownlow. Remember, no one is worthless, no story is worthless. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special guest for you. Please put your hands together for Dr. Ahmad Nooristani. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I am great. First of all, I just welcome you to my platform. And, we're going to talk about health today. And you have a supplement out here called Balance 7. Can you, just tell, the listeners out here, what is Balance 7?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Your platform is amazing. And I think your opening sentence, nobody's worthless. I mean, that is absolutely amazing. So thank you for that, because I truly believe that. So thank you for that, because you're right. Everybody's important, right? So let's talk a little bit about Balance 7, what it does. Obviously, Balance 7 is a supplement. We got thousands of supplements out there. And then we hear about Balance 7 and everybody's saying, wait a minute, we got 1,000 of these, supplement run, in every shelf. And what makes this so important, right? So Balance 7 is a highly alkaline concentrate supplement. Its pH is 11.2. So we'll talk a lot about what that means, right? And, what do I care about 11.2? That doesn't mean anything to me. We'll talk a little about that and why that is so important. It is 1,500 times stronger than your regular drinking water, the pH of it. So it's extremely alkalinity. So why do we care about that? Because everything we do in the body depends on the pH. Everything from the time you're born till the time you die, and every function within your body is regulated and dependent on the pH at the cellular level, at the organ level, and everything around it. So it's an extremely important point that people don't know about, don't focus about, don't pay much attention about, right? But it regulates everything we do. We're talking here, there's tons of stuff going on in our body that fluctuates and brings back the pH back to normal in order everything to function well. So that's why pH is so important to people understand it. So therefore we could do things to bring our body where it needs to be as far as pH balance concerned. We live in a society that our diet is not perfect. We eat a lot of refined food, sugars, fast food. All that impacts your body, and it changes your body's pH and shift it toward more acidic. And I'll tell you a little bit about it later on. But all these changes happen, and it's a compound effect, So just because you had McDonald's doesn't mean your pH is going to change and stay there, right? You got to eat McDonald's for a month, right?
Right.
And so just all these small changes, that happens throughout the day. And imagine that year after year after year. So when you hit at an older age of 50s and 60s now, your body has gone through hundreds and thousands of different insults that has to repair itself on a constant basis. So sooner or later, something's got to give, right? I mean, your body's resilient, but it can't be that resilient because we're going to get sick, right? So think about it over the last decade. What has happened? The rise of all disease known to mankind and more, right?
Yes.
High blood pressure, diabetes, cancers, you name it, right? Autoimmune disorders. And I mean, it just a whole spectrum of new disease that we had no clue back in the days. And now it's very prevalent. And guess what is related to? Environment, what do we eat, being unhealthy, not taking care of ourselves. But just remember, everything is controlled within your body with that pH.
Wow. Okay. All right. And, you are correct. We're going to talk about the importance of pH balance in, a few minutes. But I want to dig a little bit into your background. Of course, as I introduce you, you are a doctor. Okay. And I just want to talk about your medical background and how it relates to Balance 7.
Okay. So I am a internal medicine physician. I'm currently actually practicing as a hospitalist. What that means, that term, is I work in the hospital. I take care of the sickest of the sickest, and also do critical care, which I take care of patients on the vent, etc., where they're super sick, right? So that's that. I mean, that's been, I've been practicing that for the last 15 years. But I'm also doing, so obviously internal medicine covers a variety of disease process. So, but I also have work in outpatient setting, as a regular physician. I have private clients that I work with in a health setting. So over the past few years, I have realized, obviously, that beside just drugs, right? That I'm trained. That's all I've been training. Drugs. Don't pay attention to anything else. This is gonna fix you. But at one time you realize, wait a minute. Yes, you got high blood pressure, and I have the perfect drugs for you to make your pressure perfect. But why did you have it to begin with? That is the most important question, right? True. You're diabetic. Yeah, I got insulin. I got tons of a spectrum of medication that I could, give to you and make your sugar be perfect. But wait a minute, why did you have diabetes to begin with, right? Is it your fault or something else happened? Can we do something about it to prevent it from happening, as opposed to taking care of it once you have it? Because now it's late, right? Let me break your legs and then I'm gonna fix it. Well, if you paid attention where you're going, maybe you wouldn't have fallen and broken your legs now, right? Now you have the best orthopedic in the planet is gonna fix your leg. But that's, so that has become the problem with medicine, and especially in our nation here, right? Yes. We are extremely proactive. We're extremely reactive as opposed to being proactive, right? So that's part of the reason I said, okay, there got to be more to just prescribing medicine, right? I got to learn why you get sick, what I can do, and how I can educate, how I can incorporate everything else to the medicine. Yes, by the time I see you, you have problems, but guess what? I could do something about it beside the drug. Right? Can I bring your blood pressure back to normal? The answer is absolutely yes. Yes, you might be on the medication for a little while, but can I get you off of medication? So over the years, I have experienced with hundreds and thousands of my patients that I have transitioned them from this to being healthy, right? So it's just not a magical pill saying, hey, here we go, you're fixed, do A, B, C, and D. No, it's a life choice, right? You have to make a life choice, right? You are making a decision next time when you go out, what to eat, what not to eat. But what we forget, that it requires a little bit of education. What is good for me to eat and what is bad for me to eat, right? I could click in any news channel and I get all different spectrum, right? What is good and what's bad. Yeah, we have some common sense to see, hey, listen, maybe if I eat this kind of food, it's good and this may be bad. But you know what? Some of us don't have choices. Some of us don't have option. We don't have the education, the background, etc., etc. But there was, as a physician, now you have to take all into that consideration before you treat somebody, and that requires time. That requires effort. That requires you as a physician to educate yourself beyond what you've been taught in medical school. So that's the route that I picked. Start working with supplements and alternative medicine and see what else I could do beside. Now, I'm a firm believer of medications. No, don't get me wrong. It saves life every day. And I see it day in and day out. But I also believe that there's a chance for us to be healthier by following very simple choices. So I've been doing some research in alternative medicine and supplement world for the past few years. And the result has been phenomenal with my patient, at least. So that's why I want to share that with the world. That's the little background.
Well, okay, so it's, first of all, you hit on some very key things there. And let me just say, I believe in this day and age, we're always, most of us are looking for a fix it all real quick sort of like method. And if you can give me this medication and, okay, well, this is to alleviate, High blood pressure. Oh, okay. Well, but you're still going to continue these eating habits, and you're still going to continue, certain types of like lifestyles and these like hostile environments that's going to cause high blood pressure, and then I expect to come back to you. Hey, well, doc, such and such happened. And I know last time you gave me this prescription, my blood pressure did go down, but you're still attributing to the same thing, so are you really getting better, or do you just want the, hey, I'm going to come in for the one-stop fix it all and then go back to doing what I was regularly doing? No, you have to change up your habits. And I think for most Americans, I'm just going to say most Americans, I can't speak internationally or what have you, but I'm just going to say for most Americans, that is the issue. We're always looking for the quick result. We want it now. And if this pill is going to do it for me, or if this medication is going to do it for me, then hey, I'm going to go get it. But I'm going to continue to go the same route I've been going. But, do I really get healthy? And I think that's the question that we should really be asking ourselves.
You're absolutely right. The rate of obesity in the United States is going to hit the ultimate high, 65%, 65% of population.
Wow.
Okay, with 65% of 320 million or so, that's a lot of people who are obese. So guess what? They're going to be predisposed to having diabetes, hypertension, coronary disease, and strokes, etc. You name the disease, it's got so that those numbers are going to keep on going up if we don't change. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Just the fact that you said that alone, that statistic alone, people, we really have to get it together. And especially in this day and time where we're, fighting, COVID or what have you, and COVID has made it a little difficult for us to do a lot of things that we are used to doing, almost in any, other aspect of life or what have you. So yeah, people, let's try to get it together, eat a little bit better, work out, and stray away from hostile environments or hostile things that will cause more harm than good. Now,
absolutely right.
On the flip side of that, I know we spoke about it just a few minutes ago. We were talking about pH balance. Can you just talk about the first and foremost, the importance of pH balance, and, why is pH balance over like 11, why is that important?
Okay. So your body runs, as I said, in a very tight control pH range, right? pH means power of hydrogen, basically acidity and alkalinity. Basic and acid, a lot of people, you have heard the term alkaline and acid, right?
Yes.
So that's what your body's continuously adjusting to that two things, the acid and base. So there's a neutral zone for your blood that to function properly is 735 to 745. Anything above, like literally above 7 is alkaline, below 7 is called acid, right? But your body has chosen to have this narrow range to function. So if you put on a lot of, let's say you drink a cup of coffee, or let's say you had a bottle of Coke. I hope you don't, but when say, no. Listen, you do. So you drink that, guess what happens in your body? It's an extremely acidic, it's a very extremely acidic drink, right? So you put it in tons of sugar. So all of a sudden it hits your body and it goes in, and your body, it's very acid. So your body has to do something in order to buffer itself, right? So your body it has to change. It has to get resources from other part of your body in order to bring the acid back to base or back to make it neutral. So it just uses your bone. For example, your lungs have to work harder, your kidney has to work harder in order to buffer. You have a buffering system and it does that, right? So no problem, it fixes itself just like that, right? But if it continues going on and on and on and on for years and years and years, guess what? The system is taxed. That system doesn't have enough energy, enough power in order to do what it did at the beginning, right? So slowly things are adding on to your body. So keeping it in that balance. And that's why we say, look, alkaline diet, all it means, things that are in a basic category are good for your body compared to acid, because your body doesn't have to tax itself to correct it, right? It's corrected already as is, right? So we always tell people or patient, hey, make sure you eat a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, right? That's the key. Whole grain, that's the key. Because why? Because they're an alkaline or basic food that goes in. It doesn't tax your body, but actually it helps your body to continue to remain in that range, so your body doesn't go out of whack. That's a medical term, out of whack, by the way.
Okay.
So anyways, so you have to do that change, right?
Mm-hmm.
So from that standpoint, as I said, it's you got to understand that, hey, listen, I don't care about what pH, but I want to know that I want to be in the alkaline side. That's what I want to be, because it helps my body. And how can I do that? By eating right? You got to eat your fruits and vegetables and limit your intake of all the sugary stuff, refined and fast foods. And, you go to if I told you, if you buy tomato, healthy, right? The canned tomato.
Oh,
would you believe it has tons of sugar in it?
Really?
Exactly. That's like 90% of people are gonna say, really, right? Because it's used. I mean, it's used an alternative sugar type that be part of it, so you don't see it. But it is a different thing. It's a big chunk of it. So even all these canned food that we use, and it's obviously easy, but it has a lot of sugar. So we just have to be really careful how everything is brought up to us, because it's easy, right? We're a nation of now. I want, I want to make pasta. I want to get the tomato. It got to be ready. So all these little things will add up that you don't pay attention, that you go in the supermarket, even though you try to eat healthy, you're going to end up not eating healthy because you just don't even think about these things, right? I never thought about a tomato can will have sugar in it, but guess what? Tons of sugar, right? Because that's the only way it tastes good. So, so the point is that, listen, I understand the pH. I need to be an alkaline. What does that mean? I got to, include a lot of fruits and vegetable in my diet, and I got to limit the intake of everything. So I, as a physician, I'm not a believer of absolutely 100% don't touch this. No, limits, right? You love your steak. Well, I love steak. Enjoy it good, but don't have to eat it every day, right? And whatever it else is. So, I mean, you're drinking, that's fine. A glass of wine, 2 glasses of wine, fine. Beyond that, suffer the consequences. So it's just limiting what you do. And if you increase the, intake of your fruits and vegetables, now you see you're becoming healthier. Now, the changes people, as you say, believe right now, right? The change you're going to say, it took 50 years for your body to be out of shape internally, right? It's going to take some time to bring that back to where it was. So there's no easy fix. Now, we talk about some of the supplement, back to Balance 7, right? So Balance 7 is one of those few supplements. It's so strong and so powerful as far as its pH concerned, right? So it does some of those changes a lot sooner. But once again, this is not an easy bullet. Take Balance 7, you're going to be fine. No, Balance 7, you got to eat right. You got to exercise, right? Physically and mentally. And this will push you to help your body to regain its pH balance a lot sooner. So if you do that and have the steak and McDonald's and a couple of soda pop, no, don't expect it to change, but it will help you, right? It will definitely help you. So that, I mean, we always look at supplement as something bad, as a fashion, people pushing it, but there's use for it, right? Because as I say, once again, you might not have a lot of the ability to go grocery shop every day, eat fresh fruits and vegetables. So, you can do a little bit. Now the supplement comes in, right? Like vitamin D is a good example, right? If you're not getting enough exposure to the sun, obviously you get a supplement, vitamin E, great, you need it, you absolutely need it. So, but if you're eating right and you go to the sun, and you really don't need a supplement. But I'm saying there's role for all the supplements. So yes, people are gonna abuse it, saying, this is just a gimmick. But no, it's absolutely, there's role for it.
Well, I'm going to say this. You can never have too much sun, okay? All right, because that's like the natural vitamin D.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to ask, and I know some of my listeners may be upset with this, but I know a lot of people who are coffee lovers.
Yeah.
And along with coffee, they have to have their creamer. They have to
Yeah.
have sugar with the
Yeah.
creamer,
Okay.
things of that nature. People don't be mad at me because I'm talking to you, but but I mean, I'm just going to ask, for those, and I don't mean to pick on them specifically, but for those who are, of that nature or what have you, me, I'm a tea guy. I love tea. But I don't have to have sugar in my tea. I may have a little honey in there,
Yeah.
I try to stick to the organic honey or what have you, but sometimes we have to do what we have to do. We have to make little adjustments or what have you. So yes, you are correct. Adjustments, but for those who are like coffee lovers, is there a high level of acidity in that, along with the creamer, or is it just the coffee alone?
So, I mean, here's the good and the bad with everything, right?
Yeah.
Coffee is amazing, obviously. I drink it every day and I go overboard with it. So I'm honest about it because I drink more than I should, right? I do creamer, I do, so that's bad part about what I do, and I know it. So having a cup of coffee with creamer sugar is no big deal. Having 6 cups of coffee with creamer sugar is a big deal, right?
I know.
Having a cup of coffee and eating pizza and having a steak at night, then big deal. Having a cup of coffee, eating your fruits and vegetables, and have a proper diet, no problem, right? Well, once again, you cannot push people to go one way or another. It's impossible because how we live, right? We're gonna enjoy life. If you wake up in the morning, that's what you do to wake you up, a nice beautiful cup of coffee with some cream and sugar. Guess what? This is it. And that's fine because your body also needs some sugars, right? And also coffee has a lot of, the good flip side is it's an antioxidant, right? So it gets some help from that standpoint. So yes, I mean, I'm not crazy. As I said, it's not the healthiest thing, but once again, for me, it's walking this path. Not this way, not that way. Because you know what? It doesn't work. Have you, my patient, so I tried all sort of weight loss control for patients. And I'll tell you, the best way, and by far, I had 100% success rate, 100%. It never happens, right? And I'll tell you how. I tell all my patients, you know what? I want you to write everything you eat, calculate how many calories. I don't care what you eat, just write the calories, right? And then you tell me that, hey, listen, out of all this, today I want to skip half of this or half of that. So you eat everything you like every day, but you're going to drop X amount of calories. And in a month, I want you to lose 5 pounds. Guess what? In a year, it's 60 pounds of healthy weight. So I don't care about you losing 60 pounds next month or 100 pounds in 3 months. This is not a contest. I want you to take it slow, easy. Stay in this lane. Slowly change everything, add more healthy diet. Now, calorie in, calorie out. That's it. You put garbage in, you get garbage out. Calories are calorie. That's how your body functions. It's the good calorie that counts, that makes you healthy and make you lose weight, as opposed to bad calorie that does so much. So yes, I mean, just staying in the lane, you will feel healthy, you will lose weight, you maintain everything you're supposed to, because this direction you will fall. You're going to go opposite, and then all of a sudden you go crazy about it. So stay here and you'll be perfectly fine. Your body will be in tune with itself.
All right. So in other words, what the good doctor is saying is moderation, people. You don't have to have the 6 cups of coffee. No need for that, especially 6 cups of coffee with sugars and creamers and things of that nature. And then you're sitting around all day and you're not moving. No offense to those who, have to live that lifestyle, but, I believe in being, informative. This is a platform where, we have informative content, and that's what I want to bring people. So we're not like, just
we're not
bashing on coffee lovers or people who love sodas and things of that nature. But as you said, if you just write down the calories of everything that, it is that you're eating and taking in, and like you're processing it throughout the year or what have you, and you decide, hey, you know what? Maybe like 2 sodas a week as opposed to 5 sodas a week, that may be, the limit I may go or what have you. But in time, you will see the process and you will see the decline and, the high sugars and acidity and things of that nature that's bad for the body, and you want what's good for the body. So also get out in that sun, people. Get out, get that vitamin D, get that exercise. I don't care if it's for 15 or 30 minutes, get that exercise, okay? If it's just walking up and down your sidewalk, for half an hour or what have you, that's exercise, okay? So
you're absolutely right. So what people don't realize, they associate weight loss with exercise.
Yes.
The biggest mistake. The biggest mistake you can do. And I'll tell you why. So you put in an hour at the gym, you lose about maybe 400 calories. If you're killing yourself, 800 calories. And I'm not talking about elite athletes. They're in different category. They burn a lot more. So I'm talking about just average, average people like us. Mm-hmm. But guess what? One donut is 500 calories. So what did you do with the exercise? No. So you do exercise to remain healthy, cardiovascular wise, right? You make sure, you get the proper circulation, you have healthier heart, you train yourself, and from that standpoint. But if you think you're going to work out and lose weight, no, you're misleading yourself.
Okay.
Ain't happening.
Hey, look at the good doctor. Hey, look, he said it. I didn't say it.
I have tons of science to back it up.
And he has
no worries about it.
Research, people. Research to back it up. He has the data. There it is.
Absolutely, okay. No question about it.
So now let me ask, as far as the benefits, how can Balance 7 assist people in their health a little bit more, especially during this time? Because, as I said before, we have COVID out here. We have restrictions. There's only going to be so much you can do inside these gyms. And as we just talked about, a lot of people go into the gym and they figure, hey, if I go, real, hard for like half an hour, God forbid, like an hour and a half or what have you, then I'm going to get these like excellent results. But what are the benefits and how can Balance 7 assist that?
So, we all wake up once you hit about your late 40s, 50s, you wake up with joint pain and aches and not having energy, not being able to sleep well, not having a good rest, not having the proper immune system to fight against invaders, whether it's viruses, bacteria, etc. And not, mental clarity is not there. And all that relate back to what is called a chronic low metabolic acidosis. That's the big term that I was telling you. Back to one thing, it's called your pH is out of whack.
Okay.
With acidic range, and you need to bring it back, right? So all that I mentioned, that everything I mentioned is directly related to your acid-base balance. So Balance 7 is designed to give you that high burst of alkalinity to make you feel better. Give it 72 hours from the time you take as directed, and you will see the difference. You will see you will definitely see a difference. I haven't had anybody that has taken it and haven't had an impact. Nothing is 100%, obviously, but you say, 99% of people who have taken it and have, they have seen their impact. Some people have taken it a little longer, 5 days, 6 days. But absolutely. And these are the reason being is it makes those small, tiny changes from within, and makes you feel so much better. Let me ask you, Ty, you took it. Balance 7, have you taken?
Yes, I have. I've taken it.
Tell me.
Yes. I will say this. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about it because you just mentioned like the low chronic
metabolic acidosis.
Yes. So I want to talk about that in just like a second because like I don't really think people really understand what that really means. But you hit on something as far as like sleep. And this is just my personal thing, people. Look, I'm a living witness. I have an issue with sleep. I may get anywhere between 5 to 6 hours of sleep, you know, a night or what have you. Sometimes it's sometimes it's closer to 5 hours than it is 6 hours. Anything past 6 hours, I can like probably count on my hand how many times it's been past 6 hours. Or if I wake up, you know, early in the morning, like I normally do, I am a natural early riser. I may feel okay for an hour, but then after that hour, I'm ready to take another nap or what have you to go back to sleep. I've been taking Balance 7 for about a week now, you know, straight. Yep. All right. And my sleep schedule has changed. I'm getting close to, you know, 6.5, almost 7 hours of sleep. And this is like straight through instead of like the breakup or what have you. And then I'm like, okay, well, I could probably go for a little nap right now. No, I do have the extra burst of energy to get things done. And as you said, as far as like the clarity of the mind or what have you, you know, man, and this is just me, people. This is me. I'm not saying, you know, anybody else, but this is just me. My thoughts and the way I process things are just a little bit quicker now than they have been before. It's not to say that I can't process things or what have you, but I'm a little bit more sharper now, you know, so I'm a little bit more on the ball. And I love it, you know, and I think it's one of the, you know, best things that I could have probably, you know, I consider it like a godsend, you know, because it has helped me. Like, I know it's only been a week or what have you, but it has helped me. Like, I have seen the change. And it took a couple of days, you know, probably after like the third, fourth day or what have you, I started to notice like certain changes. And that's when I started to sleep a little bit longer. That's when my thought process got a little bit sharper, and I can, okay, yeah, let me do this. And I like it, you know, and I think it's a great investment to yourself, to your body. And, you know, that's just me, you know, I'm not getting paid for any of this, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just tell you now. But I got a chance to, you know, sample, you know, Balance 7, and it has helped me. So I have no complaints at all, Doc. None.
So the other part that people, you know, I want you to realize, then that's called unintentional consequence of taking Balance 7. And that is the key. It's a placebo effect that you don't realize, but you do. I'll tell you now, it's going to probably hit a home run. You're taking this 3 times a day, right? 1 ounce, no big deal. 1 ounce at nighttime, daytime. You know, the process of doing that makes you conscious and be self-aware of what you eat, because this is like, oh, I'm taking this to feel better. I don't want to eat that. So it's a constant reminder of being healthy and eating healthy. So it's just not that effect of that, but also it has all these other benefits that mentally forces you to really focus on yourself, because it's a constant. If you're taking it as directed and you know, religiously taking it, which I am and everybody in my family does,
yes,
it will constantly reminding you, you know, it's like a reminder. I'm not like, I just, you know, it works so much better. I stay away from so many things now because it's a constant reminder. Hey, I'm taking this to remain healthy, but these are not, I shouldn't be eating.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to say, me personally, I lost maybe 3 pounds just not eating certain things. And God, honest truth. So I got my shipment of Balance 7. And after like the first couple of days, after like the third, maybe fourth day, when I really started to notice change, I came, and this was a little selfish of me, but I came close to sending a friend a bottle of Balance 7, because I had, you know, I received the package and it had 4 bottles in it, but I came close to sending a friend, you know, just pretty much just for them to witness it. But I'm like, well, if I send this bottle, you know, I'm sort of cheating myself out of like these, you know, quantities of Balance 7, and I need that, but I could tell them a little bit more about it. So yes, I was a little selfish. I kept my bottle. And
well, you got to send me his address. We'll ship him a couple of bottles. Hey, listen, it's all about transformation, changing people's life. The easiest, safest way to do that as a physician, that's what I live by, right? And I take a note to make sure to save lives. That's it. So how you could transform it in a bigger platform, as I said, Balance 7 platform, your platform, we all have a duty towards people, to our society. So I think just giving back and being part of that is so important, and it's transformational. And so if it's going to transform your health, then why not?
True. Yeah. That's very true. So like I said, I'm sorry, I was a little selfish. I wanted to keep it for myself because, as you said, I started to notice change. And once I felt like my cognitive abilities getting a little bit sharper, I was like, oh no, well, do I really want to give this away? Or, this is a conundrum. You know what? I think I'm going to keep this to myself. And I'm sorry, but I mean, if I don't take care of me, who else is going to take care of me?
Somebody got to take care of World of Thai, right?
Yeah, hey. I have to take care of me, okay? So, but we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Pretty much, off camera or what have you. But now, let me ask, where can, for those who are watching and now they're very inquisitive, where can people purchase Balance 7?
I think you can go online. It's called balance7.com. The word balance, number 7.com. It's sold through Amazon. So they could buy through that as well. So those are the two ways that you could get your supplements, your supplies. Yes.
Okay. And you can also follow them on social media, people, at definitely Instagram at Balance 7. So yes.
And we have Twitter, and also there's Facebook, Balance 7.
Yes.
So yes, they could follow us there and see what the news and what the some of the tips, healthy tips that are part of what we do. There's also, one of the things we have put that separates us from all other supplements in that world, that there's a section, ask your doctor questions, and I will answer it to you personally.
I'm sitting here with a doctor, ladies and gentlemen.
And I will, so we have that means. So if you have any question that wasn't answered through this session, whatever it is, hey, I get a lot of questions. Hey, doc, I'm taking these medication. Can I take this? Hey, I have heart failure. Can I take this? I mean, some of them have heart disease that, they're concerned about whether this drug will, the supplement will interact with their drugs and so on and so forth. So they could send those questions to me, and, I'll be able to answer them properly and guide them. So, feel free to tell your audience they have that option if they're concerned or they want to know a little more, or they have any question. Doesn't matter what question it is, we'll get back to them. Absolutely.
Well, I'm just going to say, in that aspect, I'm very lucky. I consider myself a very lucky person. I'm not on any extra medications or what have you. It's really been Balance 7 and just watching what I've been eating, because as you said before, and it's been a week, and I'm going into my second week, like this. Well, I don't really want to say today, but I'm going into my second week, but I'm telling you, I've been very, very, very conscious of what I'm putting into my body. Now, I will say this, and I'm going to ask this question before I really get into my last question. There's a lot of people out here who figure, hey, yeah, all that's nice and all, but I'm just going to, continue to drink plenty of water and, just flush my system out, flush. And that's not a bad thing. You want to get rid of, as many toxins as possible. But in your opinion, how can Balance 7 assist with that? Because some of these waters that we have out here, let's just be real, the pH balance is not high.
So here's so scientific, as a medical doc, I'll give you that answer about, drinking water, which I need to sip right now.
All right.
So in thinking about this is going to flush your system, right?
Right.
Guess what? The answer is, I don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't do anything for you. Okay, it just makes you hydrated, right? So
Right.
is it important to stay hydrated? Absolutely.
Of
Is
course.
that gonna detoxify if you drink a gallon of it? No. As a matter of fact, if you drink a lot of water, no matter what kind of water, if you drink a lot of it, actually it harms you. You get water toxicity, it drops your sodium, it could predispose to seizures and tons of other problems. So there's no such a thing detoxifying my body in water. Okay, so just
Mm.
people think about drinking it, and because it makes sense, right? If I take that, it takes all the gunk, and when I pee it out, and no, that's not happening. Now, staying hydrated, absolutely. Drink the recommended amount of water because you need that to function and be proper and get some rest, have a good skin, whatever. But to drink too much of it, no, it's not gonna flush it. So it's not about drinking water and flushing your system from toxin, but it's once again, but so where the toxin goes, say you eat something really bad, or say whatever that produces a byproduct that's toxin, right? It goes to your liver, it goes to your kidney, and through your gastrointestinal tract, your intestine, etc. They are the one who has to detoxify and get rid of it, right? A glass of wine you're gonna take, you can have on the 50 gallon of water after, it ain't gonna do anything because it has to go through your liver, and the liver has to process it and clean it out and get rid of the toxin. So the toxicity and building up of these what we eat happens at the cellular level, within the body, within different organs. So what you want to do is, once again, if your pH is at optimal level, all these other processes are stimulated so much more. Your immune system is at heightened alert, right? If they see something wrong, they're gonna attack it right now. So it's not, this flushing your system that's how it doesn't work. It's just making sure, once again, what goes inside your body and what it does. So balance 7, once again, it goes in and change your pH. Your pH does that. So balance 7 by itself doesn't do anything. It enables your body to take care of you. We don't do anything. Balance 7 is not going to transfer anything. It just makes sure that your body does what it's supposed to be doing to begin with. So it stimulates so much more than just drinking water.
Hey, so look, no offense to all my water drinking friends out there. I mean, because look, I'm just going to keep it simple with you, Doc. I have friends out there, they're on these water kicks. Hey, let's make sure we get our 64 ounces of water. Let's make sure we get this, hey, we're doing a water check or what have you. And all that's fine. But, I think sometimes we fall into those misconceptions, of what like the media and all these other platforms feeds us, and we really don't take time to do the necessary work. But I'm a living witness that can tell you balance 7, in the time I've taken balance 7, I'm kind of sharp. I'm a little bit more sharper. I am getting much more rest than I've gotten in, I'm not going to lie, years. Like I'm actually getting rest, and when I wake up, I'm not like sluggish, I'm not dreary or what have you, But now I also will say 30 minutes before you eat, people.
One of the things I want to clarify, this is not, balance 7 is not a drinking water that you chug along a few. It's 1 ounce, just a little tiny 1 ounce 3 times a day. That's it. So that's what I said. This is not a water bottle that you're going to jug along and containers of it, right?
Right.
It's just 1 ounce 3 times a day. That's it. If you are exercising really heavily and you want to get some benefit of decreasing your lactic acid, and maybe you can take another shot after or before. But yeah, that's it. So this is not a drinking contest that you're going to do a few jug of. As a matter of fact, I don't want anybody to take more than 3 or 4 ounces of it a day, period. Okay, because it's extremely powerful. So I want audience to be very clear about the instruction behind it. This is not a water. So this is by no means it's a water. It is a very concentrated alkaline. You take a little bit of it, I say 3 times a day, half an hour before or after what you eat. So empty stomach, it works a lot, a lot better. If you can. So I see people say, oh, I don't have time. I'm so busy this squeezing in it. So I say, well, after you, right before you sleep, brush your teeth, chug it down, you're done. In the morning, when you wake up, do it, or after you had your coffee, half an hour, or breakfast, then you have a big, and then at lunchtime, during afternoon, maybe an hour after you have your lunch, you just sip it down, you're done.
Well, I'm
Simple.
going to say this. I know people who normally get up and the first thing they reach for is their phone. Before you reach for the phone, people, okay, and scroll through and do your doom scrolling, okay, because I know we're always looking for like bad information first before we get to the good information.
Absolutely.
Balance 7.
Balance
Okay, people,
7 in it.
balance 7. 30 minutes before, 30 minutes after, 3 times a day. Please stick to the instructions. It's there for you. It's there for a reason. As I said before, this is not a paid promotion or anything of that nature. I'm a living witness. Okay. So I'm just giving my testimony. All right. So,
Thank you. Maybe, the excitement is shared across the board with a lot of people. When people say that, these things that, how excited you are, I want to hire you and be my spokesman right now. But everybody that really truly take it and continue taking it, the reaction is the same. They're like, wow. This was like, I've never felt amazing like this before. And that's what drawed me to begin with this, to start researching with this. So yeah, it's absolutely amazing and fantastic to see people feel that way in such an easy thing to do. That's the beauty of it. It's not, you don't need prescription, you don't have to go anywhere. It's just easy to take. It doesn't take much to get yourself those benefits that you mentioned. So, but thank you for taking it. Thank you for being a proponent of Balance 7 and how good what it does. You hit it the nail on the head, saying exactly what people have been telling me about it, saying, hey, my sleep. Talk about sleep cycle. It's just so amazing. Sleep cycle, energy level. And we had a bunch of people that said, you know what, when we hit the midday, really about 1 or 2, I'm so tired. I want to take a nap and I can't function without nap. After taking this for 2 weeks, and some of them said between 2 weeks of that time, boom, they said, I don't need the nap because I'm still energetic. I have energy. So the reason being is because they got a good night's sleep, because they slept well, and there's no reason for them to be tired, because nap, naturally we shouldn't be taking nap, right? If you got your sleep. So that's what happens. And now during the daytime, they're just fine.
And as I said before, I'm a living witness. Okay, people, like, that's all I have to say. And to my friend that I didn't want to share my bottle with, please forgive me. I'm just trying to, be the witness here, and I'm just trying to be the model citizen that I am, to let you all know that this really does work, and as I said before, you stick to the program, you too will find yourself, hey, you know what, man, I'm a lot more energetic. You know what, my joints don't hurt as much. I don't have like the little like nicks and knacks, that I would normally have. My joints aren't popping as much because I'm getting up, I'm doing a little bit more, and I'm more alert. pH balance. And I didn't really understand what it was at first, but now I'm starting to get a little bit more of an idea now that I'm sitting here talking to you. Okay. But I've come to the last question, but we're going to do this a little bit different than we normally do. Normally, I will ask, what is the one word that best describes you and why? But we're going to flip it on the other side. And Dr. Ahmad Nooristani, I'm going to ask this question to you. What is the one word, in your opinion, that best describes Balance 7, and why?
Maybe I will add just 2 words. I would just because they're together. It's a lifesaver, right? Because it does so much for you. I think it's transforming in so many ways that I think it translates down the road. If you choose to start here, you have done some good for you, and extended your life expectancy. Not just because drinking it, but I said because everything else you do. So I think it's definitely a lifesaver for you.
There it is. Now, before we get out of here, can people follow you on social media or things of that nature? Do you have an email for people to, reach out to you and ask?
I mean, we could go to the website at balance7.com. There's a section for Ask the Doctor. They could email me. They could, I get a message and I'll personally respond to them. Once again, I've been doing that for, a few months now. So absolutely.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And once again, people, this has been Word with Ty Brownlow. I have been your host, Ty Brownlow. No one is worthless. No story is worthless. You can follow me, all social media platforms, at Word with Ty Brownlow. Or you can go to my website, tybrownlow.com. Definitely get this informative interview, plus other great interviews as well. Dr. Ahmad Nooristani, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. Once again, people, Balance7, balance7.com. Go to the Instagram, Balance7. I'm not getting paid for this. This is not a paid promotion, people. This is real life, okay? So you all take care of yourselves. Have a good night. Peace.